Well, hello, Coaching for a Cause coffee break listeners. We are so excited to bring to you today a great conversation that we're going to have with Sonya Howard, our action coach out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I have been talking to her, and I think she has a wealth of information that she can impart to our action coaches about how they can start their journeys with coaching nonprofits and how they can sustain and enhance their journeys coaching nonprofits. So, Sonya, welcome to Coaching for a Cause Coffee Break Convo.
Thank you, Lisa.
Glad that you are here. So tell us about your experience. I think first just with Action Coach, when you came on board, really brief on your experience, where you're at with Action Coach and being a part of the Action Coach family.
Yes, I started with Action Coach almost 2 years ago in July. So I'm still sort of a newbie, kind of. I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia, right next to the airport, 5 minutes from 10 minutes from downtown. So I am in a full African-American community. So I'm the only Black female action coach that we have in the USA right now. So. Yes, and I'm in a chocolate city, so I'm trying to get all the rest of the chocolate ladies on board.
Oh man, I think that sounds great. And I'm so glad that you're here to join us today to share, because what I've observed about you is you didn't have any reluctancy in initiating and moving forward with establishing nonprofit, what we like to call for impact organizations. So tell us about your journey with starting to coach nonprofits.
Yes, so I thought it was a great idea. I believe in training. Someone mentioned to start out with one just so that you can get practice, and that way at least you have one client and you start coaching right away. So the very first client that I met was a lady who was out of North Carolina. I'm here in Atlanta, but all of my coaching was virtual. We were in the middle of of COVID. And so she has a nonprofit that's in Africa, in Nigeria, and it is called DSEN Foundation. And there is an issue with mental health there. Mental health and their culture, people don't really believe that you have mental health. So she has a facility there, and the facility was just sitting there, and someone renting it out. And by the time I finished coaching with her. The facility is open. It has 10 rooms upstairs, 10 rooms downstairs, a doctor, a nurse, classes in there for people downstairs to learn how to get skill sets for sewing so they can sell things in the market. She has rooms upstairs for counseling for mental health. But yeah, and we had our first fundraiser. And so that was my first experience with Coaching for a Cause.
Oh, I love it. Tell us about how you started out, the tools that you used in the system, and if and how you adapted them for working with this For Impact organization.
Yes. So one of the tools that I really love is your spreadsheet that you created, the growth checklist. I love that because it goes through each item to let them see where they need to be, what they don't have. Fundraising, time, delivery, USP, test and measuring, systems, technology, people, team, leadership, recruitment. And by the time they go through that, they see, oh my goodness, there's so much I need to do. Yeah. Then we start out with the alignment. The alignment is perfect because it asks all the right questions to get them to really start thinking about what they want. It gives you all the details of what they want. By the time you do the alignment, you have a full list of everything that you can possibly coach them on. Then we narrow that down to what are we going to focus on for the first 90 days. With Stella, that's her name, we decided to narrow it down after talking with her about her vision. So I use all of the materials about vision and mission and USP and guarantee and what's your target, and so that we can now figure out who we're going to market to, so that when we have this first campaign, we're going to market to those individuals who care about the people in Africa. She has a huge following on social media where she gets on every week as a doctor. She's a doctor also, by the way, I forgot to mention. And so she's on there answering questions for people with mental health who don't have anyone to go to. And then there's an opportunity for her to do a fundraising. So that's what we decided to focus on. Use that, push the fundraiser, have the first event be the fundraiser. And the second thing was to get this building opened up and start using it.
So, this is exciting to me because what I hear is, and what I've observed for so long is there's a lot of smaller nonprofits that are very unstructured. They're led by a founder who's very passionate, may have a viable cause to be pursuing, but they haven't spent the time, or they don't have the resources or the knowledge to be implementing structure and having, as we coach the for-profit business owners, take what you're doing, it's been more like a job, and treat it as a business owner, and growing it to the sixth level of success, right? When there is freedom and a commitment that they can be a ongoing entrepreneur with a commercial profitable enterprise that can work without them. So I love how you have approached working with nonprofits. Tell me a little bit about your comfort level, because I know and experience other action coaches that feel apprehensive about approaching for impact organizations because their history has been all in for-profit or corporate, and they feel that there is a huge gap and they don't know how to connect. So what was the environment like that you felt that so willing and comfortable to say, hey, I want to help you, and what led you to be able to connect with this particular for impact organization?
Well, I come from IT. I worked in IT for 23 years. But even in IT, the last 10 years, I was a business coach. I was not a business coach. I was a coach working with teams and executives and directors. And so I talk to a lot of people anyway. So my personality, if you hadn't figured out, I'm a high I. I'm also a high D. And so I am in the community a lot. I do bold, what do you call it? I call them bold visits. It makes sense to me. It's a visit. So I go around meeting everyone in the community, introducing myself, letting them know I exist. I'm a part of the chambers. I won Chamber Ambassador of the Year. I'm an ambassador. So everyone pretty much will know me, even if they don't want to know me.
Yeah. I love it.
So as I am talking to people at the Chambers event, oh, how are you? What do you do? Oh my goodness, what is that nonprofit about? Why did you get started in that? Oh my goodness, I love that idea. I'm just listening to them, talking to them. And if I find something that resonates with me, like I just met a young lady who is the only Black person that she see on social media who is dealing with cancer. I know she's not the only Black person dealing with cancer, but she's the only person that she sees on social media. So once I started speaking with her and started listening to why she was doing this in her journey, I wanted to help her. So my suggestion is, just as you're meeting people anyway, anyone that's resonating with something that you're passionate about, that's the perfect person that you can come alongside to find out what are their challenges, what are their goals, and then just walk through the process and help them the same way that you would help any client.
Perfect response. You had mentioned another mental health agency in your community that you started to work with too. And I think that's an interesting journey, because from what I heard, you're taking it from assessing the organization and seeing that it would benefit from having a foundation to fund the mental health services. Is that right?
Well, what I was thinking was, of course, I am in my community, I'm running into a lot of nonprofits who don't have a lot of funds. Mm-hmm. However, I would think that you might want to reach out to, or try to purposely connect with some of the ones that are bigger that may have a budget for coaching later on if they decide to continue to coach with you. So hospitals, schools. In our community, we have a principals partnership where I am lot matched up with a school, a principal, and so I am talking to them about the Yes program, right? So everywhere I go, I am pushing the Yes program, trying to figure out anybody that wants to be a part of it. And yes, a school has a budget. So someone like that, you could probably coach with them even longer. It could go on to you moving on to a different department and meeting the parents, and who knows where else it could go. But all of these are nonprofits in the city. If you join a chambers that is the county chambers, you're going to meet all of those nonprofits, the police department, the fire department, the school department. Those are the people you're going to meet in the community. So it's easy to find someone to coach if they want to be coached.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you said that, because I think that, number one, if you're a new action coach, you're spot on that it can be so value added to just get your feet wet and start to get into the act of being an action coach by coaching a nonprofit. You're building up a lot of muscle in a new area for you. And then what you're talking about is being strategic. And I so appreciate that, because it's not just about coaching any nonprofit. You said a couple of things. Number one, when you're in these mixers and you are letting your eye shine, you're listening and you're curious and you're wanting to know, oh, what does that nonprofit for impact do? And you've been purposeful and deliberate in who you've chosen to coach. And that is with nonprofits that you have mission alignment with. You have your personal mission is connected with their organizational mission. And that's where you're going to see a good, I always call it a good ROE. It's a return on your energy. That's something that is real in the nonprofit or for impact sector. And then lastly, to be strategic, you're right. In the coaching for a cause, the commitment is that you're providing 6 months of pro bono coaching services, right? However, if you're doing a great job and they're starting to grow, they want to retain you. So how then, after that 6 months, do you look at the possibility of converting to being a paying client? How do you look at the possibility of then how you could be exposed to the board of directors that more than likely consist of business owners or people who are connected to business owners, that you could be showing your value in the things that you've talked about, like the growth club checklist, the alignment, the vision, mission, purpose, all the tools that you have. And that can continue. So I love that you're looking at purpose, alignment, strategy in and of itself. We're coming to the end of our coffee break convo, but what would you say is one thing that you would impart to anyone listening to this if they're hesitant about coaching a nonprofit in their community?
Well, I would say that there are so many people around us that need help anyway. There are so many nonprofits that need help. There are so many TV shows that point out nonprofits in your community. It's not very hard to find one. If you look up, find one that you're excited about, volunteer, see if you like it, and then you'll find the passion. Like, okay, let me help them. Let me help them take them to the next level. So that's my suggestion. And it just starts with listening. With coaching, we're always listening. We're always listening to find out what's the issue and how can we help.
Perfect way to end it. Sonya, thank you for your words of wisdom today. I know this is going to be well received by our audience, and continue to make an impact on those organizations. That's really exciting. So,
you're welcome, Lisa.
Thank you all for joining us. Until next time.